Good morning. Welcome back to the Retirement Report. I'm Hank Parrott, your host. All right, before we get back into the topics today, we've got a phone call. Let's go to Aaron. Aaron, welcome to the Retirement Report. Aaron, are you there? I'm sorry? Oh, Ellen. I'm sorry. Ellen, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Very good. Sorry, I got your name wrong. Good morning, Ellen. How can I help this morning?
This might not be exactly what y'all are discussing, but I am trying to take over my brother's, helping my brother get his stuff straightened out. We don't know if the woman that was taking care of it filed his taxes for last year. How do we go about doing that?
What happened with your brother? He did what?
He had a caretaker taking care of all of his financial. He's blind in the veterans home.
Okay.
Don't know if she filed his taxes for last year. She passed away.
Okay, got it.
And we don't know, what is going on with that. If they were filed, if they wasn't filed. How do we go about finding out?
Do you know anything about his financial situation?
Well, I'm learning.
Okay, is he in Texas now?
No, he's in Murfreesboro.
Oh, okay.
Veterans home.
Gotcha. All right. So then the easy thing here is basically, Dr. Friday appears on the show quite a few times and should be an excellent resource as far as getting your brother's tax situation filed away. Do you have records of his past year's taxes?
We haven't found all of them yet. No.
Okay. What's the most recent year you found?
We've got one for 2014, I think.
Okay. Well, that's perfect, all right, because 2015, we've still got until October 15th of this year to file if it hasn't already been filed. So what you could do, here's what I would recommend to you. Give my office a call. All right, I'll get you the number. We'll put it up on screen. For the first 10 callers anyway, every week I offer up a free retirement income analysis, and that's basically a comprehensive financial plan. As a part of that, though, whether you want to come in for that or whether you'd just like to get some information about how to take care of this tax thing, what I could do, if you want to call my office, 615-376-5325. Again, for those out there, for the first 10 callers, free comprehensive plan, and Debbie's standing by. She'll take your information, send you out a checklist of things to bring to the appointment. So, Ellen, for you, that would be you can bring in your brother's tax things, okay? And what we would do then is I can have Friday meet us there at the office. All right, so if you brought in your stuff, I can have Friday there. She's a excellent tax person. She can help take care of your tax. She's an enrolled agent with the IRS. She can take care if there are any problems. She can help you sort those out, get the taxes filed in a timely manner. We still have time to do that without having to worry about penalties and the like. So if you just call my office, and I'll connect you with Dr. Friday either directly or, as I said, I can schedule it to where you can come in and meet with the both of us. How's that?
Okay. Well, thank you.
And we'll make sure we get that fixed up for you and your brother, okay?
All right. Thank you.
All right. You take care.
Okay. Bye.
Bye. All right, this is one of the things, again, for the first 10 callers to my office, 615-376-5325, a full comprehensive plan. I'm going to talk, I'm talking this morning about taxes, and if you've been, paying attention here, this is one of the things that is going to be one of the big issues for, your future is how to minimize your taxes, because tax policy is going to change. And I've only just barely scratched the surface of some of the reasons that's going to happen. But here's something else to take in mind. A full comprehensive plan is how to maximize Social Security benefits, which is a system in trouble, and understanding what those troubles are, understanding how to fix them, and understanding how to maximize the benefits for you are critically important as well. An investment analysis. Okay, how are your investments done now? Have you ever wondered, are you investing in the best way for yourself to minimize the potential? Okay, right now we're overdue for a bear market, as an example, well overdue. All right, and most people feel that the stock market is overvalued, and one of the reasons that the market is doing as well as it is has nothing to do with fundamentals, but more to do with the accommodative policies of our Federal Reserve. And by keeping interest rates low and money cheap, it's basically allowing companies okay, to look better in many ways than they are. So and we saw a sign of that, all right? We got a hint of that back last December when the Fed raised just 0.25%, 25 basis points, raise in interest rates. And what happened? We saw the markets tank by about 10%. Now, it wasn't just the fact that they raised it that minor little 0.25%, because the Fed does want to get back to the normalizing of interest rates. This is like we're living in a little fantasy land right now being created by our federal government policies, in particular our Federal Reserve policies, and it's making it difficult, as they've said themselves, and they being the chairwoman Janet Yellen said in a congressional testimony earlier this year, and it's been repeated by other Federal Reserve Bank chairpeople or bank presidents, is that our regulatory policies, our government policies are making it even more difficult for them to get things back to normal, all right, because of the uncertainties and the things and the cost and expense that they're adding into the system. And the fact that these policies are also prohibitive in terms of job growth, which is one of the things that's so important, right? We got to broaden the base. The more people that are working and paying into the system, the easier this is going to be. These are important things for you to pay attention to, because it's also, you got to take that and you say, well, what can I do, me personally? Well, one of the things is at least vote, right, and understand how these policies, what policies are going to impact our country in terms of our economy, and what that's ultimately going to mean to you with regard to your personal finances. All right, so that's one thing. Understand that is one of the most critical things right now is we have to get people back to work. We have to reduce corporate taxes to bring money back in to make this a better place for people to be able, in fact, to pay into the system. The more people that are paying in, more money's flowing in, all the other problems start to shrink in comparison. So when I mentioned Social Security as an example, running a $6 trillion deficit, well, one of the big reasons is there are fewer people working and therefore paying payroll taxes. So therefore there's fewer people paying in, and yet we've got, as we know, baby boomers turning 65 at a rate of something like 10,000. I think it's CBS that originally reported it's 10,000 per day. All right, the reality is that this is not a steady 10,000 every day. There's a curve to this. In other words, based on certain the way the birth rates went. So right now we're in a little bit of a lull, and it's about to pick up over the next 4 or 5 years to where that's going to be really in our face with regard to the amount of people that are going to be starting to collect Social Security. Okay, so one of the things, more people collecting, fewer people paying in, we can see this is not going to end well. All right, that whole $3 trillion trust fund, think about that for a second. What is the trust fund? The trust fund is IOUs. There was a time when President Bush was in office, for instance, where he was touring, he was talking about trying to privatize some of the Social Security system. Did not go over well, but he was, at least addressing or trying to address a system that needs fixing and how to go about doing it. And one of the pictures I remember seeing was him standing in the Social Security Administration office in Washington, D.C., in front of this really cool-looking filing cabinet with a nice seal on it that looked very, very important and everything. And in that filing cabinet were these Treasury notes, all right? And basically, what is that? It's an IOU. It's the federal government saying to the Social Security Administration, they took, when they started borrowing all that money out or taking all that excess funds, when the Social Security, in other words, was running at a surplus and could have created a true trust fund where it took that money and invested it and had real money there that was, from the private sector, let's say. Instead, what happened was Congress decided, oh, let's take all this money and we can spend it in the general fund, and we'll give you these IOUs of the money we've taken so that we're going to, pay that money back. So how are they going to do that? Oh, yes, they're going to pay it out of income taxes to the payroll tax, to make up for what the payroll taxes aren't paying. Is this insanity or what? This is the way our government works, and this is the problem with our Social Security system in many ways, too. This fiscal deficit, this underfunding. So even with that, if you take even the smoke and mirrors that go with the trust fund aside, we're still running a deficit of $32 trillion. What that means, deficit was $6 trillion. The long-term underfunding of the Social Security system is $32 trillion. So what does that mean? That means that we have to raise payroll taxes or make other changes, or more jobs. It's one of the most important things right now in our economy. All the different woes that we have out there, when we look at the potential here of raising taxes, the issues that are faced, the more people we get paying in, the less problematic that's going to be. And here's something else to really keep in mind, and that's that what we're doing to our children and our grandchildren. We're saddling them with so much debt. If we're going to have to raise payroll taxes immediately by 32% just to try to solve this problem, imagine what that's going to mean for our children. And keep in mind, when Social Security started, we had something like 16 people paying in for every person taking out. Today, or actually it was 30-some people, I think, for everyone taking out. Today, it's down to like 3 or 4 people paying in to everyone receiving benefits. That's not sustainable, and it's getting worse. Okay, imagine your child being the one having to be personally responsible for your Social Security benefits. That's where the direction we're going in. All right, this can't stand. So, on the one hand, I say all this so I want you to be responsible and think in terms of how, when you do your planning, think of your kids. And here's one of the things. One, as I said, vote. One, pay attention to these issues and the importance of them and what they're going to mean to your future and to that of your children and grandchildren. But here's the other end of that, is think in terms of your own personal family planning, okay? Because if this is the kind of future, if this doesn't get sorted out, our kids are really going to have a problem. So the more we can do to help them, all right, be able to be better, in better financial shape, the better. Now, when we do planning, comprehensive planning, the concept is want to make sure you're able to attain and maintain your standard of living, your quality of life throughout your lifetime. Have a little fun. You've worked hard. You enjoy. You've worked hard for it. And let's go out and enjoy it. And at the same time, none of us know if we've got what tomorrow may bring. Right? We don't know what life's going to throw at us. We don't know from an expense standpoint, healthcare issues, things like that can increase our expenses. So we have to plan for all these different contingencies. And that's why planning is so important. Don't leave it just, there's such a disconnect here. There's been so many surveys and reporting that shows that people think, I'm going to retire at X age and I'm going to have this wonderful life. And yet when you ask them how they're going to do it, they have no clue. And you guess what? They're not going to be able to do it. They're going to have that bubble burst. I can't tell you, there are people that come in sometimes, all right, when we do the specials, and again, for everyone, you're welcome. First 10 callers, as I mentioned, we do that. We put that out there every week, 615-376-5325, free retirement income analysis. It's a comprehensive plan, okay? I don't mean just like a 1 hour, I'll sit around and we'll drink coffee and shoot the breeze and stuff. No, I'm going to do up a plan for you, whether it's 1 visit, 2 visits, 3, whatever it takes. And so call my office, 615-376-5325. Ask for Debbie. Debbie's going to get you a packet out. It'll be a checklist of things to bring to your appointment, and she'll also send you a copy of my book, free copy of my book, 7 Steps to Financial Freedom in Retirement. Okay, all of that for the first 10 callers. Okay, we're going to have to take a break. Went on a little bit of a rant there about the Social Security and taxes and stuff, but it's so important for you to understand this. I want you to really get your house in order, and this is how I'm going to help you do it. So we've got more we're going to get into some more specific strategies as soon as we return. Join us here. We'll be right back on the Retirement Report.